This morning on The Dish, Timothy Hollingsworth had humble beginnings in the food industry. Born in Texas and raised in Central California, his first restaurant job was as a dishwasher. But he rose through the ranks and to the highest heights. He became the chef-de-cuisine at Thomas Keller's world-renowned French Laundry and won the James Beard Award for Rising Star Chef.
He eventually stepped out on his own in Los Angeles, where his Otium serves vibrant, rustic dishes flavored with the influence of his worldwide travels. Timothy Hollingsworth, good morning. Welcome to The Dish.
Welcome, Chef.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us what's on this great table.
Yeah, we have cauliflower roasted with almonds, capers, and grapes. Butternut squash with a coffee glaze and homemade ricotta. On the far end there, you have a fig and a burrata tart with a little onion jam on the bottom. And this is one of our most famous dishes. It's a herb roasted chicken with shishitos and soy glaze with tomatoes and Aleppo seasoned potatoes. And then, of course, for dessert, we have a millefeuille with hazelnuts and vanilla cream.
Of course. All right, Chef. So let's start at the very beginning. Humble roots in the South, big family. Where'd you learn to love food?
I think I learned to love food around the table. You know, my family, that was the one time that my family was all together and sitting around the table and eating. And we have a very close family still today. And I think that's why I have such a love and care for it.
But what I was really struck by in your story is that when you grew up you started out in Texas and then moved to California. But at age 19, I think it was, you flew yourself to New York?
Yeah. It was my first time on an airplane. I flew myself to New York. I wanted to go check out the culinary school at the CIA in Hyde Park. I ate at Le Cirque, checked out the culinary institute for a week, came back down, ate at Ducasse at the Essex House.
What were you telling yourself at this point?
Yeah.
I was telling myself I want to be a chef. You know, I needed.
But how did you go from never having been on an airplane to Le Cirque and Ducasse? I mean, that's a big
You had
jump.
very grand ambitions.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was a little ignorance and naive and being young and, you know, I don't know.
Amazing. Why did Thomas Keller choose you?
I think he chose me to get me off of his back a little bit. You know, I called, and finally he said, okay, come try out. And then I went and tried out, and then I called, and then I called, and he finally said, okay, come.
Did you not, from what I read, you literally went with your resume to the restaurant on a night you knew he'd be there?
I called multiple times to make sure that he was going to be in the restaurant that night, and I would be able to turn in my resume to him.
What'd you learn from him at Per Se?
I was at the French Laundry mostly,
French Laundry.
Yeah, but I opened it Per Se. But I learned the work ethic that he had, the legacy that he tries to build, the love that he has for the industry that we're in is pretty impeccable, and just his detail. He's so detail oriented. Every detail matters.
Yeah.
You stayed at French Laundry for 13 years.
Yes.
That's a long time in any restaurant.
Yeah, but I think, you know, when you're you know, somewhat comfortable in an environment, you're able to learn more. I spent a lot of years traveling. You know, I'd work and then we'd have 2 weeks off. During those 2 weeks off, I'd go and travel to France and maybe work for a couple weeks, or England and work for a couple weeks in other people's restaurants and come back and apply that knowledge at the French Laundry.
And when we talk about Otium, your restaurant in LA, it says we know that you've woven in tastes from around the world. What are they? What have you held on to?
I mean, I think it's American food. I think it's American food at its finest. America is a you know, a melting pot of so many different cultures that we draw influence from who we are. Los Angeles, there's like how many different ethnicities and different cultures and different cities for different people, and you know, that's really what American food is all about.
American food is about the whole world.
It is.
Chef, as I ask you to sign this dish, as is custom here on this segment, I'll ask you the question we always pose, which is, if you could share this meal with anyone past or present, who would it be?
Wow, that's a tough question. Elaine Chappelle, I think. He's one of the chefs that I read about as a young cook, and I think his philosophy around food was so inspiring, and I would have loved to have met him. I would have loved to work for him.
Well, maybe up in the sky you'll sit at the table of bounty. Chef Timothy Hollingsworth, thanks for your time and congrats on everything.
Thank you.
And for more on Chef Hollingsworth and The Dish, head to our website at cbsthismorning.com.